Chapter 10, A Seat Beside the CEO. The annual Sinclair Global Leadership Summit was the most important corporate event of the year. For 3 days, executives, investors, partners, and media representatives from around the world gathered to discuss the future of business. It was also one of the few events where Ethan and Amelia could appear together publicly. At least, that was the plan. "Are you sure you can't come with me?" Ethan stood in the doorway of their bedroom, adjusting his tie. Amelia was sitting at her vanity, fastening a pair of pearl earrings. "I'll be there tonight. You could come this morning." "I have my own work to finish." Ethan walked over and kissed the top of her head. "You work too much." Amelia laughed. The irony was unbelievable. "Coming from you? That's different." "It absolutely isn't." He smiled. For a brief moment, things felt normal again. Comfortable. Familiar? The way they used to be. Unfortunately, those moments were becoming increasingly rare. The summit began at Sinclair Towers Convention Center. Hundreds of guests filled the massive auditorium. Cameras flashed. Reporters gathered. Executives exchanged handshakes. As CEO, Ethan stood at the center of everything. Confident? Respected. Admired. To everyone watching, he looked like a man completely in control. Only a few people noticed how exhausted he truly was. One of those people was Vanessa. She stood quietly near the stage reviewing the day's schedule. When Ethan stepped down after his opening speech, she immediately handed him a bottle of water. "Your next meeting starts in 15 minutes. Ethan groaned. "Only 15. Actually 12 now." "You're cruel." Vanessa laughed. "No, I'm efficient." For the first time in weeks, Ethan laughed too. The sound surprised even him. Because lately, laughter felt uncommon. Work consumed nearly everything. Yet somehow Vanessa always found ways to make stressful situations easier. A joke. A comment? A perfectly timed observation. Nothing inappropriate. Nothing personal. Just enough to lighten the burden. And Ethan appreciated it. More than he realized. That evening, Amelia arrived at the summit's gala dinner. The ballroom was magnificent. Crystal chandeliers. Live music. Hundreds of distinguished guests. She immediately spotted Ethan across the room. Unfortunately, so did everyone else. Investors surrounded him. Executives competed for his attention. Photographers followed him everywhere. Being married to a CEO often meant sharing him with the world. Amelia had accepted that years ago. Still, some nights were harder than others. As she approached, she noticed Vanessa standing beside Ethan. Tablet in hand. Managing schedules. Coordinating conversations. Handling endless requests. The woman was remarkably competent. Amelia couldn't deny that. When Vanessa noticed her, she smiled warmly. "Mrs. Sinclair." "Vanessa. Mr. Sinclair has been looking for you all evening." The statement surprised Amelia. "He has?" Vanessa nodded. 3 times. Something inside Amelia softened. Perhaps she had been feeling lonely lately. Perhaps she needed reassurance. Either way, hearing those words mattered more than she expected. A moment later, Ethan spotted her. And immediately excused himself from the group surrounding him. "Finally." Amelia laughed. "Finally? I've been trapped in conversations for hours." He wrapped an arm around her waist. For the next several minutes, they spoke quietly. Just enjoying each other's company. Unfortunately, peace never lasted long. A board member approached. Then an investor. Then another executive. Eventually, Ethan was pulled away again. Leaving Amelia standing alone. Again. As the evening progressed, Amelia found herself observing. Watching? Listening. Something she had always been good at. And what she noticed surprised her. Vanessa never left Ethan's side. Not because she was attached to him. Because her job required it. Every schedule change passed through her. Every urgent message reached him through her. Every crisis landed on her desk first. She occupied a position of constant access. A position very few people had. Including Amelia. The realization unsettled her slightly. Not because she distrusted Vanessa. Because she missed being that person for Ethan. The first person he turned to. The first person he consulted. The first person who knew everything. Lately, she wasn't sure that was true anymore. Later that evening, a prominent investor approached Amelia. An older gentleman who had worked with Sinclair Corporation for years. Mrs. Sinclair. Good evening. He smiled warmly. You must be proud. Of Ethan? Of both of you. Amelia frowned. The investor chuckled. Don't look so surprised. What do you mean? The man lowered his voice. I've been around long enough to know how things work. Amelia's heart skipped a beat. Did he know? Surely not. The investor smiled knowingly. Behind every successful leader is someone helping them become successful. Relief washed through her. He didn't know the truth. Not completely. Still, his words lingered. Because for the first time that evening, someone had acknowledged her existence, her contribution. Even indirectly. Unfortunately, the moment didn't last. Victoria Sinclair appeared moments later. And as usual, she had opinions. You should smile more. Amelia blinked. What? Victoria gestured toward the crowd. People are watching. Amelia forced a polite smile. Better? Marginally. The older woman studied her. Then glanced toward Ethan. He's remarkable, isn't he? He? Amelia smiled genuinely. He is. Victoria nodded proudly. Sometimes I can't believe how much he's accomplished. Neither could Amelia. Though perhaps for different reasons. Then came the familiar sting. The familiar implication. The familiar dismissal. We're fortunate Ethan chose such a responsible wife. Amelia frowned slightly. Responsible wife. Not partner. Not strategist. Not advisor. Not the woman helping him run an empire. Just wife. A decorative title. A supporting role. Victoria smiled and walked away. Unaware of the frustration she left behind. Or perhaps aware and unconcerned. Near midnight, the gala finally ended. Guests departed. The ballroom emptied. The staff began cleaning. For the first time all day, Ethan could breathe. He loosened his tie and collapsed into a chair. Today lasted a month. Vanessa laughed. It only lasted 14 hours. Exactly. She handed him a folder. He groaned dramatically. Please tell me that's not work. It is? I dislike you. No, you don't. Ethan smiled despite himself. No, I don't. The exchange lasted only seconds. Harmless. Professional? Yet neither noticed someone watching from across the room. Amelia. She had returned to retrieve her purse. And what she saw wasn't inappropriate. Not remotely. In fact, it looked perfectly normal. So why did it bother her? Because Ethan looked comfortable. Relaxed. At ease. A version of himself she rarely saw lately. And for the first time, Amelia wondered something she hated herself for wondering. When had another person become such a constant presence in his life? The drive home was quiet. Not awkward. Just thoughtful. Eventually, Ethan reached for her hand. You were quiet tonight. Amelia smiled faintly. So were you. Impossible. She laughed. Fair point. The silence returned. Then Ethan squeezed her hand. Thank you for coming. I always come. His smile softened. I know. Neither spoke afterward. But Amelia stared out the window, watching city lights blur past, thinking. Reflecting? Questioning things she never questioned before. Not because she believed Ethan would betray her. She didn't. Not even close. But because she could feel something changing. Something subtle. something difficult to name. And sometimes the most dangerous changes are the ones nobody notices until it's too late. The following morning, Sinclair Corporation released official photographs from the summit. Business websites published articles. Magazines shared images. Social media exploded with praise. One particular photograph quickly became popular. Ethan standing at center stage. Confident and powerful, beside him stood key members of his executive team, including Vanessa. The image spread rapidly. By afternoon, thousands had seen it. Most viewed it as a normal corporate photograph. Nothing more. But somewhere in the back of Amelia's mind, a troubling thought emerged. Vanessa occupied a seat beside the CEO, a seat earned through competence. A seat justified by responsibility. A seat completely professional. Yet it was still a seat closer to Ethan than anyone else in the company, and whether she wanted to admit it or not, that fact bothered her.